In a world where we're coming to you live, broadcasting news about your nation, from a space station, comes Scenic Universe, Episode 004, Justice.
Hello.
Well, hello.
As always, I am Tyson Torrance, and I'm here with my good friend, Mr. J. Alexander Beacon, in the flesh.
The J stands for justice.
Yes. Also, the theme of today's episode, ding, 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 justice.
Yeah, that's the word of the day.
Yeah.
Since it seems to be the word of no other day lately.
It's not been a theme
No.
lately. Actually, with the Manafort being on trial, it's kind of, there's a big trial again for us to gawk over. There hasn't been one in a while, what
was the last big trial?
I mean,
that the country was obsessed with.
The the moms who killed their kids, Casey Anthony.
Casey Anthony.
And,
I was like, Anthony Casey?
Or the girlfriend who killed her boyfriend, Jodi Arias. You remember that one?
What was her name?
Jodi Arias, I think.
Really?
Yeah, something like that. Yeah.
Yeah, I don't pay attention to that tabloid stuff.
Yeah, anyways. This is really dry compared to those trials.
Tax evasion and
offshore
money
accounts,
laundering. Yeah. Spent a bunch of time in really expensive stores.
Yeah, but national news. So
yeah, good for you, Paul Manafort.
Yeah.
Glad you made it to the top here before you sink to the bottom. I think it's extra poetic. There's some sort of poetic justice that all of the people that have helped Trump get where he was or is right now are all going to jail.
Yeah, it's like Monopoly, just get a go to jail card every time you work with Trump. Every time you cross go, right, you go to jail.
Yeah. Well, we're going to take the community chest and put it in the Trump organization, and I'm going to trade you my get into jail free card.
I just want to ask all of them, I want to make a coffee book, and the one question for every person who's worked with Trump would be, was it worth it? And this, one sentence reply, please.
One word, yes or no.
Sarah Huckabee Sanders, yes.
Yeah, she'd be on the yes side.
It'd be totally, yeah.
Yeah. Tremendously yes.
Paul Manafort.
It's maybe.
Prison isn't so bad. That would be
8 years doing time. We should be doing that, guessing how much time he's gonna get.
Oh wow, a wager. Well, we have a wager later in the show. So
no, I'm just saying, there's multiple wagers we could be making here. I want your money.
Well, pretty soon we're gonna start a fantasy league. I don't want to spoil it too much because we've been working on it behind the scenes, but we're gonna do it's a political fantasy league, so we'll keep it at that.
Yeah.
For the rules get spilled, but
get your pocketbooks ready.
Possibly some prizes. We'll see.
I think the prize is justice, right?
Yeah. So one thing that we had touched on a couple episodes ago, and I think resonated with us, would work well in today's theme, is big game exotic hunters.
I don't understand what it is about killing an elephant. Like, yeah, it's a big creature. Mm-hmm. And that's cool that you were able to point a gun in the generalized direction of the large creature and take it down and then mount its head in your house. But what really do you get out of that? Like, is it just the power trip?
It's an adrenaline rush, man. It's like
Is the elephant running at you though?
Like if they could make that happen, and have them, shoot back at them and survive it, they would be down for that. That would be like, jumping down an airplane for those kind of people. It's an adrenaline thing, man.
I mean, but that's kind of like jumping out of an airplane and then the airplane circling back around to try and catch you in its engine.
I think, just to tie into the theme, though, what is the justice for the murder of these animals? Is there justice for these animals? Is there justice for the people murdering them? Should it be their right to take whatever life they want?
Well, I mean, I understand hunting for food. Like, we as humans have done that our entire existence.
Yep.
Like, we've always needed to do that.
Started from the bottom of the food chain. Yeah, now we're here.
Started from the bottom. Now we are here. But yeah, like, I get that. I get the fact that we need to eat meat, and we've always had that desire and need. But just going out to the savannah and plopping a couple of bullets into a elephant just so you can take its tusks, that doesn't make any sense to me. Like,
elephants are just so peaceful and so
they're
smart.
like the nicest creatures,
and like just mind-boggling to look at. I actually was at the zoo about 2 months ago, and I actually spent a long time at the elephant exhibit just watching them, because they're very interesting animals, really unlike so many other species that we have out there. And to just think that you're a better person, or you just get the thrill of killing something that's so large like that, it's pretty intense, and I can't understand it.
I mean, granted, I've never killed an elephant, but yeah. I wouldn't want to. Like, I don't have the desire inside of me to be like, oh yeah, that huge creature that I could have never taken down with my bare hands. Now I just pointed a metal piece at it and it went really fast into its brain. Like,
yeah, I don't know. I don't get it. I mean, would these people enjoy working at a slaughterhouse, like doing cattle rods all day? Like, is it what's the thrill? Is it killing something? Is it, that it could come and trample you? Or if it's a lion, it could come, tear you apart, and you,
I guess,
conquered it? I don't know.
But that's what I'm saying. It's so far removed from the original purpose. Like, you don't see Jimmy John's selling elephant sandwiches at his restaurant.
Oh, if they could, they would. if elephant meat was good, then they would. No comment, actually. I've never had elephant meat.
How good elephant meat is. Watch, it's a super delicacy.
Yeah, it could
We're going to be
right?
really into it later.
Elephant foot soup, where they just cut the foot off and just haul it out and put clam chowder.
Yeah, it's like a bread bowl.
That's all I can really picture, yeah. Or like elephant ear salad.
Yeah, like what?
Sorry for the viewers. I myself am a vegetarian, and this is kind of freaking me out a little bit what I'm saying. So, third person.
Vicariously freaking yourself out.
If you had the chance, would you do that? If they're like, hey, you can come to our safari hunt so you can try and understand what it's like. And today we're killing a tiger. And let's just say, like, this tiger killed some kid in the village too, so he's like a fucking.
Well, yeah, I mean, if there's like a political manhunt for this tiger, and like he's a known killer, and like,
right, but you need all of that to say yes, right? You need, like, what's the line, right?
Sure, yeah, like I literally need an extra motive behind it rather than just killing this creature. Like, a cockroach is one thing, but a tiger, like. I'm just so in awe of predators. Like, I have a deep respect for animals that I would not be able to kill with my own bare hands.
Right.
Like, if I ran into that creature on the middle of the plains, I'm not walking away from that shit.
Man, there's some dogs I would not be able to kill.
Yeah, exactly. Another reason why doges are awesome.
Yes. So there is the other side of this argument that says that the money that these hunters spend helps support conservation efforts for places like these safaris where they have a big conservation area, and pretty much to fund a lot of it, they charge big game hunters hundreds of thousands of dollars to basically kill these animals. And from some of the research that we looked at, these places need this money. There's no other source of funding for them. And in order to keep some of the conservation lands open and thriving, they need these hunters.
Yeah, it is a weird double-edged sword. I wasn't aware of it until we started looking into it earlier. But, yeah, the fact that some of this land that was large area preserve, natural preserve, that, yeah, people would come into and kill a couple of animals on, now that money has dried up, it's been turned into large-scale agricultural land and cattle grazing land, and it's literally destroying the land. I found that very fascinating, that there was a double meaning there, where and the funny part to me is it's not those people that are promoting that argument. It's not
right.
The big trophy hunters that come out and they're like, well, actually, the money that I spent is leading to help conservation efforts.
Not at all. Yeah, really.
So that's not the reason that they're there, but I do find it fascinating that those areas were using that money to help the conservation effort, and now it's drying up, and now it's leading to other problems. It's a really weird situation going on there.
Because you're saying that the land is being taken up by agriculture, like cattle grazing and whatever, right? Like, it's almost just another offshoot of the same problem that, just the bigger picture is that we have a disconnect with animals, really, in nature, in the biggest sense. But because of our factory farming, we do have to take a ton of land to meet the supply of meat. And I don't want to get into the vegan spiel too much, because I'm not that person, I promise. But we have big game hunting problems right next door, and then now they're taking that land and putting some other animal problem that we have, literally a problem that we have with animals.
I would pose it to a conservationist. What's worse, the elephant getting shot and being hunted to extinction, or all of that grazing land turning into a CAFO that then leads to hundreds of thousands of tons of CO2 being emitted into the atmosphere?
Yeah, or wastewater, or whatever else there is.
All of the problems that come with it.
I will spare you the rant, but if you're an open-minded person, look into what factory farming, agriculture for factory farms and all that stuff has to do with our environment. And
or just visit Amarillo, Texas, and take a nice deep whiff.
Go up to Colorado and some spots there and just breathe deep, and you'll understand.
Yeah.
So, what's the moral of the lesson here? I think it's don't eat at Jimmy John's, because fuck that place. And
I think it should be a recurring theme of us just dishing on that motherfucker over and over, because those sandwiches suck.
Jimmy John's is not and will never be a sponsor of this podcast.
Unless you want to give us money so that we can rag on you.
Yeah, if that's the cool thing now, then we'll gladly take your money.
CNN's doing really well every time Donald Trump mentions them.
Yeah, consider it. But fuck you, seriously, wouldn't take your money.
Fuck you guys, give us money.
So, kind of like animals dying for no reason out of nowhere, drones.
Yeah, we're not killing elephants with drones. Like, where's the line there? The scalability of what is it really saying about you?
Yeah.
But you're right. There's something very tangible between those two concepts, where like, I'm going out into the field with a high-powered rifle so I can take down an enemy that is really far away from me and has no chance of killing me whatsoever. And now we've created these machines, these birds of prey that literally sit in the sky and can hover for 20 hours until the time is just perfect, where they unleash like a $200,000 missile. Holy shit.
Yeah, high-powered stealth killing machines, really. And that's what people aim to be when they're hunting, like when they're hunting, they want to be stealth and high powered and be able to take out giraffes. And when we're in war, we want to be stealth and be able to take out the enemy and destroy them efficiently and quickly. And casualties, I think that's the big thing for me, is like people who are civilians who have nothing to do with these terrorist groups or the wars or any of the crime in their nation, and getting killed by some missile out of nowhere just because they happen to be in that area.
Yeah, and I think that's really what it is okay, so say your neighbor next door here is a terrorist. Is it logical for you to have to die as a casualty of that kind of large scale explosion? Because if you take out one house, you're taking out the whole block with these things,
right?
So yeah, where do you draw the line? Like, is it extrajudicial killing because there's quote unquote terrorism going on in this place? Like, is that completely okay because we're stopping the terrorism? Or is there any research going on into how fracturing these communities and leading these drone strikes in places that are already super poor to begin with, they're just radicalizing the rest of the people that are there?
Yeah, it's just fuel to the fire, right?
Fire to the fire to the fuel to the fire.
Yeah. It's like a big gas tanker thrown onto the flames, and
there was a campfire, and then they drove a gas tanker into the forest. Hit it with a Hellfire missile.
This will be a tangent, but from our undisclosed location, there was a fire the other day, and it was an explosion because there was propane tanks, gasoline, and fireworks in this building. All of those things.
Wow.
Most of the people are just like, why would you have all of those things in one area?
See, we don't even need to fight with China about regulations. Yeah. We just follow their lead.
But you're right. All of this, including just being having a military presence in some of these places, just does the opposite of what we're intending to do. It feeds the hatred or the disdain for the country that's there. And one thing that was argued that was a positive for drone strikes was that it reduces boots on the soil, soldiers being there on the ground and being in conflict, right?
Sure. I mean, it's going to reduce, it has eliminated our casualties when it comes to these air sorties, but at the same time, those members of the armed forces who, read into it, like the people who live in Nevada, they wake up, they take their morning commute, 45 minutes, they make their pot of coffee in the morning, they get in what's basically an Ender's Game flight simulator, and then they execute people all day, only to walk out of the simulator at the end of the day, get in their car, drive home, and try to have a normal night's sleep. Like, they're literally going between civilian life and open warfare, day in and day out, and it's leading to horrible mental illnesses.
Yeah, that's very interesting. That's something almost that we've never had until recently.
Oh yeah, it didn't exist until drones existed, really, right? Like, remote warfare is something that is completely foreign to us.
Yeah.
But I would challenge everybody to think about why these drone strikes are happening in the places that they're happening in.
Right.
It's not just terrorism.
Nope.
Like we keep coming back to, if you're dying in a terrorist attack, you're very unlucky compared to having a heart attack or getting in a car accident. And we're spending hundreds of billions of dollars, trillions of dollars a year to protect people against these perceived threats. They're not actually threats. What we're doing is we're trying to preserve our foothold in these fledgling economies that have tons of resources.
Bingo.
And who are we fighting? We're fighting Russia and we're fighting China because they're at capacity at this point. We're lucky that India doesn't have the ability to go out to all these places and start building bases.
Right, they're just preserving their foothold there, like you said, or their stake, they're protecting their assets, basically.
Yeah, exactly. There's a reason why colonialism flourished in Africa in the first place, from the European dynasties. It was because there's a ton of resources there, and there's no infrastructure to defend them. So, of course, we're going to go in there and take them at will. And no, we don't want to appropriate your land as part of our country, because then you guys are citizens, and you have needs, and we have to fund you, and that's not cool.
So how many drone strikes in the last, I don't know, how many years? Give me
a number, a ballpark number. I don't think that number actually exists on paper. I think it's probably actually secret of what the total tally is.
It exists in one dude's head who's sworn the oath to never say it.
His name is Ender. If you've never read Ender's Game, you should probably go read it, because we're probably going to say Ender's Game a couple more times.
I am seeing here, and this doesn't include drones specifically, but U.S.-led coalition carried out nearly 12,000 airstrikes, manned and unmanned, so manned and drone, basically, right? In Iraq and Syria.
See, and that's only Iraq and Syria. That's two of our quote-unquote non-theaters of wars, because we're in this weird quasi-war state. But there's dozens of other countries that we're doing these in. Somalia, today even.
Yeah. Libya, right?
Libya, the Congo. You have airstrikes going on all over the Middle East, and Yemen, Oman. Like, you literally throw a dart at a picture of the world map, and you're going to get pretty close to a war zone.
So we talk about it pretty lightly in our news media, right? Like drone strikes, I remember when they were talking about that a lot more, but they've been doing just as many, and Trump has actually hit a record, not for how many he's done, but how many he's done in a short period of time in his first year, right? But yeah, the news media, doesn't really talk about this all the time. It doesn't say, why, when, how, unless it's something that's really politicized, such as when we took down Gaddafi or something like that, right?
Sure.
All those airstrikes. But it's crazy. You start opening your eyes to how many of these that we're doing with places that we're not even actively in war with, such as like,
Congo
or Somalia or any of those places.
Definitely not at war with them.
And I don't know. You got to imagine what it's like to be in those other people's shoes, like how they can handle that, even if it's taking out terrorists. It's still happening in your neighborhood.
Right. I mean, and that's the thing, is you're not seeing them as terrorists because they are your neighbors. They are your kinfolk. Like, they're literally just there with you, and who knows what they're plotting or what's happening, 1,000 miles away or 10,000 miles away. Like, that doesn't matter to you. All that matters is that the entire neighborhood got blown up.
Right.
And I need to figure out who did that so that I can bring them to justice.
To justice. There you go.
Justice.
Ding, 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 ding. Every time you say it.
I do want to bring up this fact, though, because you mentioned Libya.
Yep.
There have been 2,158 airstrikes, including drone attacks, since 2012 in Libya. And 550 of those were drone strikes over the last 7 years.
550.
So that's 2011. Yeah, 550 drone strikes in one country.
550 times someone sat on a computer and killed somebody thousands and thousands of miles away from them.
Mm-hmm.
And not just one person, multiple people in some of these instances.
Yeah, I mean, you look at these wedding parties that they actively target because there's 12 or 15 quote-unquote insurgents in there, and yet there was 120 people in that room. Not that all of them died, but how many of them are now radicalized to completely hate your ideology? Libya has an extra important meaning to all of this, too, as well, though. I do want to shout out to Lieutenant Giulio Gavati of the Italian forces when they were fighting the Turkish Ottoman Empire in 1911, who was the first person to come up with the idea of literally dropping a bomb out of a plane. He wrote to his father saying, "Today I have decided to try to throw bombs from the aeroplane. It's the first time that we will try this, and if I succeed, I will be really pleased to be the first person to do it."
Wow, really? That's an interesting desire to have one day to wake up. I mean, yeah, I mean, explosions are cool.
And vanquishing your enemy is cooler.
Yeah. Really? And what year is that again?
Yeah, so 1911. It was November 1st, 1911 that this letter was written.
Wow.
And, iconic because it had only been 8 years. People would remember December 17th, 1903 is the first date of flight for the Wright brothers. So it took 8 years. 7 years and 11 months for someone to finally get the bright idea to kill people out of this plane.
I would I wouldn't love it, but I would like to see a time lapse of like that guy dropping a bomb out of his airplane in 1911 and then just like sped up of every plane that's ever dropped a bomb ever, and it would just be like Philip Glass would need to score it. I would just we'll just say that.
Yeah, that would be a pretty majestic time lapse, that's for sure. But yeah, like quickly after that, they literally went from some guy having a bomb in his pocket and dropping it out over people that he saw below him to dive bombers and nuclear bombers. Literally took 50 years to start strapping nuclear weapons to the payload bay.
Wow. So, how accurate can this drone technology be? We have our consumer drones here, and yeah, they're HD, 4K cameras or whatever. But how often do they mess up? Think they are spotting the right person, think they have the right area, and then just nope, it's
Well, yeah, I mean, it all comes down to secondary sources of intelligence. Technically primary, because what you're seeing on the camera is only part of the story. They could have a body double. They could have, they could have walked into a meeting with 15 other people there and then walked out and somebody else got into the vehicle that they showed up in. There's so many things that can happen off camera, then all of a sudden you're staring at it and it's a completely different situation, but you didn't really know. So I'm sure there's all kinds of errors that happen, especially when it comes to these large parties, like I was saying, like these wedding parties. Like, okay, 20 of these guys are part of a terrorist cell in Somalia, and you're going to off 83 people? And what's to stop those survivors from then becoming insurgents?
I would think it'd be like a surefire at that point, but yeah, I don't know.
Yeah, so what are we doing? We're perpetuating... my theory, and I'm sure it resonates with other people, is that we're just perpetuating these enemies so that we have something to fight against. So that we're not just spending $10 billion or $10 trillion a year doing whatever we want with the military. We have to have some sort of justification for it. And so by building these enemies all over the world, we're just justifying the money that we're spending on it.
Basically, we have this asset, so we have to use it. We have this car, we have to drive it.
Yeah, totally. And I'm just very glad that notion has never crept into nuclear weapons, because they're so horrendously horrible that there is no justice. You would never use a nuclear weapon to impart justice upon a situation. The only thing a nuclear warhead can ever be used for is genocide. If you're going to blow up a city, you're going to blow up everything that ever happened there, and you're going to completely eradicate the memory of that thing. So that is not justice. And I would say that it's the same thing with these drone strikes. You're just using the power that you have because it exists and because it keeps you safe, but you're not taking the second step to think about the repercussions from what's going on. You're just using the tool. And I don't know, if somebody's out there and you're a drone pilot and you feel differently, feel free to let me know that I'm a dumbass.
Yeah, honestly, I would love to hear some feedback on this. Again, like I said, something that is not discussed as much as it should be. Drones are huge. I
So yeah, using these tools just because they exist doesn't necessarily mean that it's the right thing to do. And you know, my worry is that we are circumventing like literally the Geneva Convention and rules of engagement and the need to declare war on some country before you start blowing things up in it. My worry is that then pervades to the rest of society. You know, we already see the line being completely blurred between how a police officer allows a situation to escalate to the point where the suspect has been killed and the footage makes it look like it was the wrong choice.
Yeah, man, that's a heated topic, which I'm sure we could do a whole episode on. But you're right, and it really does come down to that. They have the tools, and they're going to use it. They have guns. If they feel threatened, if they feel... I guess according to some of the rules of engagement for police officers in some states, they can shoot people down just to ensure an arrest. That's what I read on some of this research that I've been doing. That basically it's like a threat or a plausible threat to other people or to get an arrest. Basically, that's one.
And I understand if it's an armed subject and the whole situation has been them threatening the lives of others. Like, okay, that I understand that. But when it's a 12-year-old kid that's just running from you, like, are you really using the justification that they may have a deadly weapon and all of a sudden they're trying to get away? Like, with all of the institutional racism that exists in this country, like, of course black people are afraid of police officers. Unless you're a black person and a cop, like, you're probably going to be afraid of the police officer because of the rhetoric.
Yeah, I mean, I'm not black myself, but I would agree with you. But I would say I'm white and I'm still afraid of the cops. Like,
right.
And I would be more afraid if several people of my race seemingly are dying for really bogus reasons, you know, like not having your driver's license or something stupid like that. I don't know. It seems like cops get away with it. It seems like America gets away with it in general for killing people.
So can you hold cops responsible when literally our world police force is doing this wherever we feel is fine? You know, it's one thing to be bombing in Somalia. It's going to be a completely different thing when we're raining hellfires down in the middle of Helsinki.
Like, welcome to America, where the bad guy gets death penalty unless he's very rich or very popular.
In that case, he gets written off and does community service.
So, is it time for a game?
I don't know. It sounds like you're building up a game.
Okay, so this game is going to be a little interesting.
Yeah, what do you got this week?
It's a little complex. You gotta stay with me on this one. Try and understand the rules here. I have selected some videos, and in these videos, I have selected some comments. And the name of the game is going to be for you to try and guess what the video is from just me reading you the comments. So you get some points for that, and then I will award you a bonus point. Two bonus points.
Oh,
if you can properly identify a bot comment.
A bot comment?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, but I've only selected one.
One bot in the entire, all of the comments?
In all of the comments, and there's going to be a good amount of comments.
Okay.
And so
are
it's
these videos that I know about already? That I should know about? Like, what kind of videos?
The theme I chose, I tried to do kind of random, but I did choose a theme. The theme is how-to videos.
Ooh, is it how to basic? Because that guy's demented and nobody should ever watch those
I don't
videos.
know. We'll see. So, you know, I'm going to be a little lenient. You know, if you can get the video kind of in the right genre even, you know, or in the right, you know, direction, I might give you a point. So, you ready?
Let's do it.
Okay.
Round 1.
This is kind of a softball, so we'll see if you can hit it out of the park. And just to stipulate again, I'll give you 2 guesses for the bot.
Okay, so I'll have a...
You have 2 times in which you can say this.
I have 2 lives on the bot question.
Yep. Yep.
All right, let's play. Thread alert.
Woo, woo, woo.
Okay, so here's the first comment, and again, points for guessing what the video is.
Okay.
And it's a how-to video.
So I just let you read all the comments first?
This is the first comment, so, just to make it fun, I'm gonna read. This is from a month ago.
Oh, shit. That's ancient history, dude.
Light some candles and take off all of your clothes. They limit your creativity by impairing your circulation. Also, try to blast the mix out of the windows and see what your neighbors think. They will tell you if they're onto something or if it's trash. Also, eat Doritos, but only with your non-mouse hand. Also, grease your elbows with Vaseline. Hope that helps. ...
Whoa.
Okay, any
This
guesses?
is a how-to video.
There's some words that might, spoil it in there, but yeah, it's kind of a misleading comment.
Okay.
Okay, next comment, same video. Use a reference track. That's it.
That's it.
It's a
Well, this is
suggestion.
some sort of mixing tutorial.
Okay.
I
I think I'll give you a point for that.
for the fact that I got somebody's mixing audio here.
Audio mixing, yep.
Okay, do I have to guess the song that's being mixed?
I'm just going to read you a couple more comments because they're kind of funny. And then I'll judge how many points you get.
Okay.
Trust your instincts and your ears and your taste. The need should come before the action. Goosebumps. Some guy had some goosebumps from that suggestion.
Yeah.
So
He's like, ooh,
the video is
frishin'.
the 16 mixing tips you will need.
Nice. I didn't feel any bot presence in there, though.
Oh, no.
Which is
okay,
crazy
all right.
because when all of the information about the Russian trolls came out and like the memes that they were sending out on Facebook, I definitely knew some of those memes. So, yeah, that would be like the perfect area for a bot to kind of get.
Just some
foothold.
random like audio engineering
Yeah,
tutorial
totally.
video. Yeah.
Hey, America, you love tutorial video.
Okay, so I'm going to give you 1 point because you got the video correct.
Cool.
Close enough. And no bots on that one? You good on that? Okay.
Didn't feel any bots.
Correct, no bots. All right. Not to my knowledge. That's the that's the ultimate, little asterisk here
Disclaimer.
that is really not a good way for me to tell 100% sure if it's a bot or not. I have some stipulations, some rules for it. I'll save that for another episode. But we're going to go to round 2 on Thread Alert. Okay. This is another how-to video. And here's the comment. Thanks for teaching me. Now I can use this to piss off my friends.
Is it the Mentos in the Coke bottle?
You just like go up to your
Just
friend's
give-
Coke and just drop a couple Mentos in. Is that a party thing? Like I don't know about. Some rum and
Yeah.
Coke. You drop
2-liter bottle of Diet Coke and a whole package of Mentos and then just run out of the room.
Okay, next comment.
Mhm.
1 year ago. I still can't get it. Ugh. Must practice. ... More. MOAR. Okay,
It's the internet lingo for the older folk out there.
any guesses on the video on this one?
Um,
Well, okay, this comment might help you. I'll give you because I got a couple here. So
Uh-huh.
I can do it pretty good. My voice is pretty low, so it's gonna be hard to get the pitch right. Lol.
This is another audio, like, vocal recording.
Close, maybe.
My voice is really low.
Okay, here's another curveball for you. Finally, somebody who has noticed the bottom teeth thing. It's always the first thing I notice whenever. I'm attempting blank because like had to say blank because it gave away what the video is here.
I'm just gonna fill in the blank with fellatio then. I don't know. I have no idea what this video is.
Okay, so no any of those sound like bots to you?
No, they still sound like confused Americans.
Okay, so the video is how to do a Donald Trump impersonation.
Oh wow, the lower teeth thing, bottom teeth thing.
Yeah, I'll post the videos, or at least the ones I like, on the website. They don't really need a shout out other than what I'm saying. Yeah, he says there's some kind of tip there by positioning your teeth in a correct way, because he kind of does that. You know, he's got that front teeth, the bottom teeth. Excuse me.
I tried to stare at his face as little as possible, but you're right.
It's a little hard not to, just because he's everywhere. But yeah.
Yeah, shout out to all of the media outlets for plastering his face everywhere. I hate you guys.
You're just giving him what he wants.
Yeah, literally what he wants.
We need like a symbol, like Prince, was formerly known as that weird symbol thing. We need just a symbol for Trump, so that we don't have to show his face ever when we're talking about him. I mean, the poop emoji comes to mind, but I'm sure there's better.
Just with like the hair flopping on it,
the floppy hair over the emoji poop.
That's pretty good. I could handle that one.
Okay, so now whenever you guys talk about Donald Trump from now on, CNN, please just show that.
Could you imagine CNN just like live coverage of some sort of summit again? Yeah, his next summit with Putin is just Putin and poop emoji.
That would really show him.
President poop emoji.
Okay, you ready for the last round?
I think so.
Okay. WTF am I doing at 1 a.m. from 3 weeks ago?
Oh, wow. That's the most generic comment of all time.
Again, this is a how-to video. Next comment. Who else feels ashamed or embarrassed about watching this? Question mark. 1 month ago. I swear this isn't like gross or anything. But apparently some people feel ashamed after watching it. This one is https://tinyurl.com/sex in xx hot video 47 full HD sexxxxn free film video xxx from 1 week ago.
So do I just get a bonus point because that's a bot?
You got the bot.
Yeah.
Bot found. Okay, so first time we're playing this game, on to make it easy, you found the bot. And you get 2 points.
Wow.
Total of 3 points.
So do I just completely lose if I don't know that's a bot?
I mean, to be honest, some guy could just be posting an awesome porn link on the video for his homies.
On a YouTube video.
Yeah. I mean, it's probably not the case, but, I've shared some videos, not on other videos. I don't think ever, but, never shared a porn video, but...
That's the other thing, is like, really? Like, why does every porn site have the little share to Facebook icon?
You might know. People you might know.
People who might be interested in this.
Okay, so let's continue on here because you still haven't guessed the video yet. Do you have any guesses on what the video is?
This video is gonna be.
Okay, here's the next comment. Tutorial not clear enough. My penis is now stuck in a toaster.
Wow. Is it like Yeah, I don't know. You said it wasn't gross?
I mean, no. It depends, really. Probably not. I mean, if you were like a 5-year-old boy, it might be gross. Let me put it that way.
So it's a cootie video?
I have one more comment. 2 more comments.
Okay.
6 months ago. Deleting my history now.
Wow.
and number, the last one. Bro, I'm single. Okay, so I picked some weird comments there. Do you give up, or do you want to?
I have no idea
take
what
a guess?
this video is. Is it Jersey Shore reunion video?
The answer is how to kiss.
Wow.
And some people have a lot of shame about their kissing, stamina and technique and ability. They feel really bad that they have to watch this video to learn how to do it properly, but it's okay. I'm here to tell you it's okay.
I mean, I'm glad that the internet is there to educate people. Because, yeah, coming from someone who's a good kisser to, like, the fact that I've had experiences with bad kissers, like, yeah, they probably could have had a tutorial video.
Thanks, YouTube.
Yeah. Appreciate you improving all of the quality of our lives.
Thanks for only having a couple of bots for me to choose from. I wouldn't say you're getting better at cracking down on bots.
See, I was waiting for a Russian bot the whole time.
We'll save it for next time. Yeah. I didn't want to go too political, just to throw you for a loop and see if you could guess what the videos were. You did pretty good, though.
Yeah.
Pretty good. Okay, so you ended up with 3 points.
Was it 3?
Yep.
Sweet.
Lucky number 3, and that guarantees a win.
Nice.
In the Scenic universe.
Hell yeah. I'll take a W anytime we can go.
So, I think we're going to take a break here, and we're going to come back. So, stay tuned.
Coming to you live from the edge of the flat internet theory, it's the Scenic Universe Meme Forecast. As always, it's raining cat and Doge memes, and as always, we still think they're adorable. We're getting reports in of a 60% chance of a resurgence of SpongeBob memes, since every frame of that show is now a meme. Donald Trump will continue his reign as the most mocked person on the planet, as the FBI closes in on his Russian conspiracy. And it looks like women will continue their online crusade to get more pockets and have fewer creepy dudes send pictures of their genitalia. And stay tuned next week when we get an update on the cat who ate so much watermelon, he became the size of a watermelon. Until next time, this has been the Scenic Universe Meme Forecast.
And we are back.
So, let's make a wager. How will Donald Trump's presidency end?
I don't know about you. I think it's going to have something to do with Melania.
You think it'll do? Okay, well, hold on. What are the rules of this wager, though? You know, we gotta lay out the before you put the cards on the table. If one of us gets this correct, what's the stakes here?
I still say that whoever is correct, the other one has to buy them some sort of Donald Trump memorabilia.
And they have to proudly display it in their undisclosed house. Yep. For at least, like, you know,
an undisclosed amount of time.
I don't know, yeah. A month to a year. Depending how correct the other person was.
Yeah, until the 2020 election.
Right. Okay, so you want to go first since you already started. Is that
Melania?
Melania will bring it down like...
I think they get divorced.
Okay. And then...
it just ruins the narrative because he erupts.
It just spirals after that. Yeah. Like, he basically just unhinges and... Like... Does he resign because of that? Is that
no.
What the ultimate? No, he just...
Dude, no.
Okay.
No, he just gets so riled up that he can't contain himself and he does something arbitrarily bad.
Okay. Arbitrarily bad. I don't know. I need some more specifics because, like, if this happens in some kind of way like this, I'm like, well, you said arbitrary, though.
I'm glad you're at least on board with the rest. You're like, this is feasible.
So all of the criteria has to be met. So Melania and Trump have to have some kind of divorce. Okay.
And then I feel like he says something disparaging against women.
Okay.
And then that leads to like a social media meltdown.
Like from both sides of the aisle and like everyone.
Yeah.
Okay. And basically you're saying that Donald Trump's just his image gets so tarnished that no one cares about him anymore. But again, is that him finishing up his first, term, and then he just doesn't run for re-election or doesn't get reelected again because it's so tarnished? Or what's the full? I need the whole 9 yards here to because this is how will his presidency end.
Yeah, it's hard because it's not saying what is illegal that makes him get impeached.
You think it's impeachment though?
Yeah, I would say that, like, I hope.
Okay. Yeah, we all do, I guess. Well, majority of America probably does, but okay. So on the record, you're going as divorce leads to some kind of crazy moment, unhinged Trump that somehow leads to impeachment. Is that correct?
I think if I get the flow right, that should count because
no, if you get
no way to predict.
That's
like who would have known that there would have been a second sex industry worker payoff payment that is all of a sudden in the news all the time.
Right. Okay, so you did 3 points right there. So like a 3-point action. So gets divorced. Does some kind of political gaffe because he's unhinged and gets impeached. Yes. So I'll do that too, and that will be like our full deck. If we can compare points or whatever at that point.
Okay.
If you get the full deck, then yeah, I'll probably display a MAGA hat in public.
I would not do that these days.
But if you only get like one of those right, then I'll just give you some accolades for winning. I'll buy a Trump Pez dispenser. How about that?
Little flag Pez.
Yeah. Okay, so here's my scenario. I'm gonna predict that Trump basically has to eat his hat in some scenario involving food. I think he's gonna make some statements about being overweight or needing to be healthier, and basically he's going to be kind of pushed into being like, all right, yeah, we got to start eating healthier. And as example, for one day he decides to not eat his hamburgers or his whatever his normal routine is. And this is the second point. On that day, he has a heart attack because his body does not know how to handle healthy food.
Dude, you're throwing in like the Joker, all aces.
He survives the heart attack. So this gets to the third one. And he decides to resign because
he's unhealthy.
He's just like basically had a come to God moment.
He went to God and God was like, go back.
He went to heaven and God was basically like, this is a fake ID, sir. You cannot get in. I'm sorry. And he realizes that he's been a con man and the error of his ways, and he comes back. And this is the long con. This is, those are my 3 points. This is like bonus, just, extra for you. The long con is that's all bullshit, but he realizes because he had a heart attack, he can start a book tour and doing all these other rallies and doesn't have to be president and deal with that bullshit anymore. He can just bank on a long time. Look at Bill Clinton. He had like heart surgery, right, and heart attack, and he had like three book tours on that
afterward.
one premise. So Donald Trump would milk the crap out of it. So yeah, there's my 3 points. He is pigeonholed into eating healthy because of that, has a heart attack because his body can't handle eating anything other than grease.
I can see it happening the other way, where he has a heart attack and then he gets pigeonholed into eating healthy.
Maybe. I don't know. Yeah, do you think he would react like that? He might be like, "Oh, it was the Democrats' fault for the heart attack." They're causing me so much stress.
Heartgate.
The fake news is getting to me finally.
They knew that talking shit about me would make me stressed out and I would have a heart attack.
You imagine he eats healthy food and has a heart attack and thinks that's the reason. So he's like, I'm getting rid of all organic food.
Obviously, it's really bad for me.
Whole Foods getting shut down.
Jeff Bezos could suck me.
Well, that's where we're at. That's what we got on record. So,
Okay, so what you're saying is he will be pigeonholed in eating healthy, and eating healthy gives him a heart attack, and then he has a moment where he actually has a spiritual experience, and he changes his whole worldview.
Yes. Seemingly, but the long con is that the heart attack actually just made him more greedy, and he decides that he can use it to prosper. So, and that's the bonus point. So.
Yeah, I mean, if he flipped it and then all of a sudden got all the good people on his side.
Yeah, all George Bush had to do to flip people was paint some like pictures of people and dogs. So
yeah, right.
It's not hard. Have a heart attack, write a book, paint some people, then you're golden. I think that's the formula.
Just have some sort of old people ailment.
I mean, Jimmy Carter was a good president, but I think he's avoided any scrutiny for just because he builds homes for the homeless.
Oh, I'm
like
sure.
every day of his life. So you cannot say anything, bad about him anymore. You're just like, well, whatever he did during his presidency is fine. He's building homes for the homeless every day. That's great.
Yeah. Good for you. Yeah, shout out to Jimmy Carter for being a really good guy.
It's still alive. That's pretty amazing. Still
In
working.
92.
Still doing all that stuff.
Doing the damn thing.
So, no collusion on our wagers, right? Just want to make sure you didn't collude with anybody.
Yeah,
insider trading. You didn't know anything I don't know.
Interesting fact, you have to actually benefit to get convicted for insider trading. If I were to give you information, I have to benefit to get convicted.
Really? So it's like IRS, they just like, oh, you got losses. You can just write that off, even though you did insider trading.
Pretty much.
Wow. So if you want to feel bad but not get arrested for it, then just do some insider trading on some terrible non-profitable stock, I guess. I don't know.
Oh, I'm sure people have made billions of dollars that way.
How many people have done insider trading and lost a lot of money, and then we're like, well, I'm glad it worked out that way because I'm not in jail.
Yeah, I mean, they could have ended up, dead at a yacht party.
Right. That's probably worse.
Yeah, man, that sucks to be the one thing that people remember you about is a Tuesday morning article about your crazy drug ravaged weekend.
Oh man. I mean, yeah, that's could describe rock star or
Wall Street junkie,
hedge investor. Yeah, Wall Street junkie, is that what you call it?
I mean, a hedgie and a junkie, they're kind of the same thing.
Got any stocks? Got any bonds?
Yeah. It's all about the options.
So what is the deal with collusion right now? Apparently it's illegal. Apparently it's not illegal. Apparently...
Yeah, okay, so that's my question. Is this whole time everybody's been saying the word collusion as if it's a really bad thing, but now they're like, oh, well, it's not even actually illegal. I can't find it. There's a lot of words that start with C, and conspiracy means the exact same fucking thing. So I don't see how this isn't... Because conspiracy is something that I can imagine hearing in a court case.
Yeah.
Of course that's illegal.
Trump said, right, even if there was collusion, it wouldn't matter because it's not illegal, and I didn't do it anyways. Like paraphrasing, sorry, it's not the exact quote, but
the thing you're blaming me of is not bad, and I didn't do the not bad thing either.
I wouldn't have done it, and even if I did, it doesn't matter because it's not bad. There you go. I don't know, man. That's a pretty solid argument if I ever heard one.
Yeah, case closed.
Case closed. I'm going to use that next time I get pulled over.
I wouldn't do this, and I can't... Yeah.
I wouldn't speed, and even if I would speed, it wouldn't matter because I wasn't speeding that much, and it's only 5 above, I'm following flow traffic, and whatever. Just see what the officer says.
Yeah.
Probably get away with it. I don't know. Maybe.
I just do what I want whenever I want.
I wasn't speeding. That was lies.
Yeah. Fake news media.
Fake
would tell you
radar.
that I was going faster than I should. Yeah, fake radar. What do you think? These lasers and science are gonna beat me at my game?
So what level of collusion or conspiracy does there have to be for it to be illegal? Like, what is
Right.
Is it again, like you're saying, does it have to be a personal gain? Like, if Donald Trump wasn't elected, but we proved that there was collusion, would there be any backlash against her? Would there be any hubbub? Or would it not matter? Does it only matter because he won?
Well, like he said, I don't see why it would be the Russians. I don't see why it would be a bad thing.
Wait. Wouldn't or would? I'm sorry. Can you clarify this for me?
Yeah, would. Wait, wouldn't. Wait, would.
Would matter.
Yeah.
I don't even know. I'm really confused now. So
yeah. No, I feel that somehow the fact that they're pivoting, they're trying to make it so that it doesn't seem bad. Whatever they were guilty of, it's gonna not be illegal all of a sudden somehow. Yeah. I hope the emoluments clause case actually moves forward. Like, this House of Cards is the fakest House of Cards that we've ever had in Washington.
Yeah, I would say so, definitely.
Oh my god. You drained the swamp by inflating a bunch of shitty other swamp monsters. You brought monsters from other swamps all around the world, all around the country. Yeah.
I mean, I guess this is probably obvious at this point, but do you think Putin knew about the hacking of our election?
Oh, yeah, of course.
Do you think he was pleased by this with his shirt off riding a bear, or was he...
I would hope you would be pleased with everything when you're riding a bear shirtless.
How many... Is it like like juggling girlfriends? Like, how many elections was he involved in that one year? Was it just America? Or was he like, I'm hanging out with this dude, I'm trying to get this dude elected, I'm trying to get this guy elected, I'm trying to get her elected, I'm trying to get this guy elected, and I'm trying to get myself elected as well during all of this?
Yeah.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah, I wouldn't put it past them.
It's a straightforward answer.
That's a lot of resources to go into that, but yeah.
Yeah, probably.
I mean, China's doing the same thing. To think that China is not doing the same thing is very naive.
So do you think that China tried to influence our election as well, or do you think they're influencing other elections?
I feel that if there is evidence of China doing that, and the United States government decided to put that out there, all of a sudden there would be a whole nother enemy to have to worry about. Other than the tariffs war that's going on, it would literally be a way worse conversation about the hacking scandal for the election. Like, he doesn't want to admit that it's the Russians, because by admitting that it's the Russians, it's admitting that he got help, and he won by the slightest tiny little margin. So how, that's my question, how, by the Russians hacking the election and influencing its direction, how does that not just invalidate the election? Shouldn't it?
I mean, Yeah, I
Yeah,
don't know.
Fuck Hillary and fuck having her be part of the equation again, because she lost this. Like, if anybody out there has anything to say about Hillary should have won, like, she had all the opportunities to do it, and she's just a bad person too. They're all bad people.
Yeah, I mean,
they're not all bad people, but these particular people are really dumb and bad.
From what I can tell, they had influence in our election, but they weren't necessarily hacking ballot boxes, not to any evidence I've seen. So you're right.
It would be that hard.
Hillary still lost, and yeah, they used bots or whatever means to try and influence the American, political landscape. But to be honest, we were already mucking it up as much as we could anyways as America ourselves. Like, Russia, to me, is just kind of like a mosquito bite versus what our society was already going through at that point and what Trump was creating. That it didn't, I don't see it as making as much of a ripple effect as people are putting it out there to be, but I also don't know the full extent of what they're claiming the Russian interference was. So I think just our ability to communicate with each other through the internet has become a little unruly and has always been unruly, but it's breeding a lot of bad habits right now. And then, the bots, the fake news, all that stuff is kind of just, additional to me. I think it really does come down to our ability to critically assess stuff, critically think about topics, to talk to other people and try and understand their viewpoint and all that stuff. So if we can't get those, fundamental steps in place, whatever Russia does, it's just adding more to that. We already had such a bad environment, and Donald Trump obviously paved the way for more of that. But
that's what I mean.
It's so divisive that
it created the climate that we used to exploit in these Latin American countries in the 70s and 80s, for example. Like, we used to go down there and exacerbate the racial and discriminatory processes that were already tearing these countries apart, and we'd kill the favorite for the election, the real person that those people wanted to represent them, and then we'd put in our little puppet dictator that would do our bidding. So for Russia or China or anyone else that can capitalize on this, for that matter, could see the way that the United States was positioning itself and having that climate that was complete chaos, just being able to exploit that, I totally believe that they would take that opportunity. Why not?
To give us a little bit of our own medicine, like
Dude.
that kind of, yeah, I could understand that, and it was easy for them. It wasn't difficult, from what I can tell. It was not difficult to.
It's like having your 11-year-old brother working on his computer overnight and just being like, "Oops."
Whoops, sorry.
Yeah.
I think the real question ultimately here is, do you think any of this collusion stuff will stick? Obviously, in our hypotheticals about how Trump's presidency will end, we didn't mention this at all, Russia or collusion or any of that stuff. But honestly, do you think any of this stuff is going to really matter at the end of the day? Once Mueller's investigation wraps up, what's going to happen?
I don't know. I really don't know. I haven't the slightest clue at this point, because like I said, who would have thought that there was going to be another Playmate scandal all of a sudden? There's curveballs from all over the place every time. So I don't know if the Mueller investigation is going to have anything that's going to come to fruition, but
I mean, shouldn't it be enough just that all these people affiliated with Trump are going to prison or, being thrown in the
you
bus?
would hope so. You would hope that, like, oh yeah, draining the swamp actually meant draining all of your supporters.
Yeah. But yeah, in terms of his re-election, when we look back at, his 4 years in office, if he makes it through all of them, will all these gaffes, all these blights, all these, cabinet members, the turnover of all these cabinet members, all the people associated with them going to jail, will that affect his, image enough so that his base might not vote for him? Because and I know this hypothetical has been done a lot to death almost, but if it was reversed, if this was a Democratic person, a president, and they had, foreign ties to other people, they had several cabinet members getting turned over, they had former campaign managers going to jail, I don't think the Republicans would ever let up on it, ever. It would be the talking points all the time. And it was, for Hillary Clinton and even for Obama, any bad connections he had. Jeremiah Wright, the Weather Underground guy.
Oh, yeah, there's no reason that anybody should have heard half of the names that got dug up from the 70s of, oh, that person did a really bad thing, and they happen to be in the same circles as Obama, so... we hate that guy. He's Hitler.
Right. And those were also, loose. Obviously, like, Obama's preacher, sure, that's an intimate person in someone's life. But, election board members, people running his campaign, like, that's pretty huge. Like, that's large.
Yeah. It's not like some
role.
Staffer got caught mishandling government information. It's literally... the people that were at the very center of his campaign here. Yeah, I don't get how that's not a bigger thing. And to call it a witch hunt, and in a year and a half we've discovered all of this inappropriate behavior that's been going on. I hope Paul Manafort goes to jail for a long time, and that just scares the shit out of the rest of them. Holy shit.
Hopefully, yeah. I mean, I don't think it will stop with him. If he goes to jail, it's probably going to be more like a domino reaction at that point. Hopefully, God, I really hope so. I
mean, I don't think Eric Trump could survive jail, so I don't wish it on him.
He would go to like rich boy jail where they like
it'd probably be worse.
Feed you grapes and like.
Imagine it being like some episode of Spartacus.
It would be like a sitcom, and it'd be like Eric Trump and Martin Shkreli are in the same rich boy prison, and they form some unlikely bond because they don't like each other, like an odd couple.
Yeah, they're just so horrible to each other, but it just works because they get each other.
Yeah, exactly. NBC, if you're listening, that's my pitch.
Yeah, we're gonna go ahead and start writing that pilot right now. Martin Shkreli and Eric Trump in These Guys.
Prison Block C. Hard Time. Starring
Hard Time. Yeah, the two of them in a movie called Hard Time.
That's also the gay porn parody version of it, so it's easy. Yeah. Okay, well, on that note,
yep.
This has been Scenic Universe,
episode 4,
and we hope you find some justice for whatever ails you and whatever has felt like unjust in your life. And tune in next week when we do some other bullshit. Bye.
Later.